They just tried to corner Trump's Attorney General nominee with loaded questions, and she refused to play their political games. What you're about to see is the left's obsession with Trump on full display, and I'm going to break it all down for you.
Senator, what I'm hearing on the news is
Are you aware
horrible.
of
Do I know if he committed a crime? I have not looked
You seem reluctant to answer a simple question. Let me ask you a different simple question. The president also wants to jail Liz Cheney. Sitting here today, are you aware of any factual basis to investigate Liz Cheney? Yes or no?
Senator, that's a hypothetical, and I'm not going to answer that question.
No, it's not hypothetical. I'm asking you, sitting here today, whether you are aware of a factual predicate to investigate Liz Cheney.
Senator, no one has
Based on
asked
what you
me
know.
to investigate Liz Cheney. That is a hypothetical.
The president has called for it publicly. You are aware of that, aren't you?
No one has asked me to investigate.
But the president
Liz.
has
We're
called,
also worried about Liz Cheney,
the
Senator.
president has
You know what
called
we
for
should
this.
be worried about?
Ms. Bondi,
the
please
crime rate
answer
in
my
California
questions.
right now
You
is
are aware,
through the roof.
Ms. Bondi,
Your robberies
Ms.
are
Bondi,
87% higher than the national average.
My question is this.
That's what I
My
want to
question
be
is
focused
this.
on, Senator.
Do you have the power to say no to the president?
General.
And what you're suggesting today by your non-answer is you don't have the independence to say no to the president. So let me ask you a different question. It also requires you, if you're going to be a good attorney general, to be able to tell hard truths to the president. So my questions now are, can you tell hard truths to the president? So let me start with an easy truth that you could speak to the president. Can you tell us, can you tell him that Donald Trump lost the 2020 election? Can you say that? Do you have the independence to say that? Do you have the gravitas, the stature, the intestinal fortitude to say, Donald Trump, you lost the 2020 election? Can you tell us that here today?
Senator, what I can tell you is I will never play politics. You're trying to engage me in a gotcha. I won't do it.
I'm just asking you a simple question.
I won't play
if you can speak truth
with any ongoing
to power.
investigation,
so let me ask you another.
like you did leaking your colleague Devin Nunes's memo.
If you can't answer the question, let me ask you a different, what should be a simple truth, not a hard one. Was there massive fraud affecting the result of the 2020 election, yes or no?
Senator, I'm glad you asked that question, if you'll let me answer what I saw in Pennsylvania.
No, I asked a simple question about massive fraud.
I can only tell you what I saw in Pennsylvania.
I know you want to answer a different question, but my question is, can you tell us whether there was massive fraud affecting the results of the 2020 election, yes or no? Was there or was there not?
I can tell you what I saw when I went
That's
as an advocate to the campaign.
That's not my question. So you can't answer that question. You can't speak that even easy truth to us, let alone to the president. So let me ask you a different question. It will also be important that you give good advice to the president. Are you prepared to advise the president not to pardon people who beat police officers?
Senator, as I said, the pardons are at the direction of the president. We will look and we will advise. I will look at every case on a case.
So
let me finish. On a case-by-case basis.
Okay, good.
And I abhor violence to police officers.
Follow up with that. So will it be your advice to the president, Mr. President? I know you said you want to issue hundreds of pardons on day one. Will it be your advice to the president? No, Mr. President, I need to go over them on a case-by-case basis. Do not issue blanket pardons. Will that be your advice to the president?
Senator, I have not looked at any of those files. If confirmed, I will look at the files
and
for the pardons, as well as the ongoing investigation.
Will you be able to review hundreds of cases on day one?
I will look at every file I am asked to look at.
Of course you won't. So will you advise the president?
Can I answer the question?
Well, my question
I would have plenty of staff. You said, of course you want.
You'll be able to review hundreds of cases on the first day?
I'm not going to mislead this body, nor you.
All right, let me ask another question. You don't want to answer that. Let me ask another question.
You were censured by Congress, Senator, for comments just like this that are so reckless.
It will also be important for you to be able to preserve the records, the evidence of the department. Are you ready to commit that none of the evidence in the January 6th investigation will be destroyed under your watch?
Senator, I will follow the law. I will consult with ethical officials in the department.
Do you see any ethical basis to destroy evidence in the January 6th investigation? Then why can't you answer the question? Why can't you say, I commit to this committee, we will never destroy the evidence in the January 6th investigation? Why can't you give this committee and the American people that assurance?
Are you frightened because evidence was destroyed against President Trump that was false? Is that why you're frightened now? I can't believe this is even...
Why do you have difficulty answering that question?
I can't believe you're asking such a question.
Why do you have difficulty promising to preserve evidence at the Department of Justice? Why is that a difficult question?
I will follow the law.
It shouldn't be a difficult question.
Welcome back to Jace Manhwa. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our breakdowns and commentary. Your support helps us push back against the biased narratives the mainstream media keeps trying to shove down America's throat. Now, let's talk about this Senate hearing and the exchange with him, Bondi, the Attorney General nominee. The senator spends nearly the entire time trying to box her into political traps rather than focusing on her qualifications or how she'll serve the American people. This is the same tired playbook we've seen for years, Democrats obsessing over Trump supporters, and anyone connected to him, instead of addressing the real problems facing our country. The senator starts off railing against the Supreme Court's decision in Trump versus United States, calling it dangerous. Let's be clear. The court reaffirmed the separation of powers. The president needs immunity to carry out his constitutional duties without the constant threat of politically motivated prosecution. Without that, every decision a president makes could be second-guessed by partisan attacks. That's not a safeguard for democracy, that's weaponization of the law. Then he grills Bondi about investigating Jack Smith and Liz Cheney, simply because Trump criticized them. He wants her to say flat out that she'd never do it. But Bondi refuses to play that game. She points out she needs facts and evidence before pursuing any investigation. That's exactly the right answer. Justice should be blind, not determined by whether the left likes or dislikes the target. But of course, the senator doesn't stop there. He tries to corner her into saying that Trump lost the 2020 election and that there was no fraud. Here's the truth the left doesn't want to admit. Millions of Americans still have doubts about 2020, and with good reason. From last-minute rule changes to questionable ballot practices, there were plenty of red flags. Dismissing those concerns and demanding everyone fall in line with their narrative only deepens mistrust in our elections. Bondi was smart not to get sucked into their gotcha questions. Next, he pushes her on whether she would oppose pardons for people involved in January 6th, especially those accused of violence against police officers. Again, Bondi holds the line. She says she'll review cases individually. That's how justice should work. The left wants blanket condemnations, but an attorney general has to weigh facts, evidence, and circumstances. That's called fairness, something Democrats seem to have forgotten. Finally, the senator demands she commit to never destroying evidence in the January 6th investigation. This is where the hypocrisy really shines. Where was this same concern when evidence that could have helped Trump mysteriously disappeared? Where was this outrage when the FBI tampered with visa applications to spy on his campaign? The left's double standards are obvious, and Bondi refusing to play into their political theater shows strength, not weakness. At the end of the day, this hearing wasn't about finding out if Bondi can be a fair attorney general. It was about Democrats putting on a show, hoping to score political points by attacking Trump through her. What they didn't expect is that she would stand her ground and refuse to give them the soundbites they wanted. That's why we need strong, independent-minded people in positions of power who won't bow down to partisan pressure. The American people deserve leaders who enforce the law fairly, not ones who bend to the loudest voices in Washington. If you agree, make sure you hit like, subscribe to Jace Manhwa, and share this video so more people can see the truth the mainstream media refuses to cover. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.